Here I am, sitting in this meeting room, a space that today represents my strength and independence. I am 28 years old, and although my current life is a testament to overcoming adversity, the journey here has been long and full of scars. Today, I will tell you a story that shaped my destiny. It is a story of appearances, jealousy, and a betrayal so intimate it could only come from those I once called family. The title of this narration says it all. My adoptive parents cut my hair while I slept so I wouldn't look pretty at my sister's wedding. I took my revenge. I know it sounds shocking, almost unreal, but every word is the truth, I promise you. This is not just a story of pain, but also of resilience and how a young woman, underestimated and hurt, found the strength to rise. The atmosphere of this room, so orderly and professional, contrasts with the emotional chaos I once lived. But it is precisely that contrast that I want you to understand. My past forged me, but it did not define me. Every decision, every step I took was a response to the cruelty I faced. And revenge, though it sounds harsh, was my path to liberation. So, prepare to hear how a vulnerable girl became the woman I am today. A woman who learned to stand up for herself. A woman who, when the time came, knew how to collect for every tear shed. This is my story, told from the heart. I was adopted at the age of 3 by the Vargas family, a well-to-do family from Medellín, Colombia. They were respected people in society, known for their philanthropy and impeccable public image. At first, everything seemed like a dream. They gave me a home, an education, and comforts I never would have imagined. However, I soon felt that my presence was more an act of charity than one of unconditional love. I was a saved child, the one who should be eternally grateful. The family dynamic changed drastically with the arrival of Camila, their biological daughter. 5 years after my adoption, Camila was the sunshine of their lives, the center of their universe, and I, suddenly, became a shadow. My achievements were minimized, my mistakes magnified. Camila is the crown jewel. I remember hearing my adoptive mother say on one occasion. Those words pierced my heart, reinforcing the idea that I would never be enough, never truly fit into their perfect world. Subtle comments became more frequent, comparisons more obvious. They always made sure I knew my place, a secondary place, always in the shadow of their true daughter. It was a borrowed life, and I felt it in every fiber of my being. Camila was beautiful, charismatic, and, to my adoptive parents, perfect. Anything she did was a source of pride, while my efforts went unnoticed or were criticized. My presence at family gatherings was almost ornamental. I felt like an accessory, someone who was there to complete the image of the perfect family. My adoptive mother's comments about my appearance were constant and demoralizing. Valerie, you should dress up more, your hair is a mess, you don't have Camila's style. These words, spoken with a smile, were stabs that undermined my self-esteem. I became introverted, trying to go unnoticed to avoid their criticism. My world shrank to my books and my own thoughts. I yearned for the love and acceptance they gave Camila, but it never reached me. I felt invisible, a piece that didn't fit into their puzzle of perfection. Camila's envy was also palpable, though subtle. She enjoyed my discomfort, my secondary position. It was a toxic dynamic that slowly suffocated me, robbing me of joy and self-confidence. But unbeknownst to them, that oppression was sowing a seed of resistance within me. When Camila announced her engagement, the house filled with a frenzy of preparations. It was the wedding of the year in their social circle, an event that would consolidate the Vargas family's status. Despite everything, a part of me felt excited. I thought that, perhaps, on such an important day, joy would be contagious and I could feel part of something truly special. I imagined a moment when, finally, I could share happiness without feeling like a stranger. I wanted to look beautiful for myself. I chose a simple but elegant dress and spent hours looking for hairstyles that would complement my long, abundant hair. I dreamed of looking radiant, not to overshadow Camila, but to feel worthy of being there, of celebrating that day. But the comments soon came. Valerie, don't try too hard. It's Camila's day, my adoptive mother said. Your hair is too striking. It might distract attention, she added with a disapproving look. Those words hit me, but they didn't stop me. I was determined to feel good about myself, at least for one day. I wanted my appearance to reflect the hope that, despite everything, still beat in my heart. The night before the wedding, the house was buzzing. Laughter, last-minute preparations. The excitement was palpable in the air. After an exhausting day, I retired to my room, filled with a mix of nervousness and a small, fragile hope. I lay down, dreaming of the next day, of my dress and my carefully styled hair. The darkness of the night enveloped me, and I soon fell into a deep sleep, oblivious to the malice brewing around me. Suddenly, a sound woke me, a metallic, repetitive, unsettling crunch. Half asleep, I thought it was a house noise, but a cold, Sensation on the back of my neck made me open my eyes wide. I sat up in bed, my heart pounding. I ran a hand through my hair and felt short, uneven strands. Horror washed over me. I jumped out of bed and ran to the mirror, turning on the light with trembling hands. What I saw left me breathless. My long, beautiful hair, which I had dreamed of so much for the wedding, was grotesquely cut, with uneven strands sticking out everywhere. It was an act of pure malice, a deliberate humiliation. My tears fell uncontrollably. The next day, the humiliation was unbearable. My adoptive parents, seeing my hair, reacted with false surprise and a superficial apology. "Oh, Valerie. What a mess," my mother said with a barely disguised smile. "Perhaps someone made a mistake." My father added, downplaying the cruel act. "They tried to convince me it was an accident, that it hadn't been intentional. But the truth was written in their eyes and in the way Camila looked at me." Camila, seeing me, could not hide her satisfied smile. Her triumphant gaze confirmed that she, or her parents, or both, were responsible for my misfortune. They forced me to go to the wedding with my hair ruined, a living proof of their cruelty. Every pitying glance, every whisper, every stifled laugh, pierced my soul. I felt exposed, vulnerable, as if my dignity had been ripped away along with my strands of hair. It was Camila's happiest day, and the most humiliating for me. But amidst that deep despair, something ignited within me. A spark of rage, a cold and calculating determination. At that moment, sitting in the church, I decided this would not go unpunished. The frightened girl had died, and in her place, a woman with a thirst for justice was born. After the wedding, the good girl mask completely vanished. I no longer cared about their approval, only my own survival and eventually my vindication. I began to plan my escape from that gilded cage in silence. Without raising suspicion, I focused on my studies. With renewed intensity, I immersed myself in the world of technology and digital marketing, areas where creativity and strategy were key. I spent hours learning, researching, building a solid foundation for my future. My adoptive parents, oblivious to my transformation, continued to see me as the same submissive girl. My apparent disinterest in social life and my dedication to studies confirmed to them that I was boring and unambitious. But beneath that facade, I was building an empire. Every online course, every book, every contact I made in secret was another brick in the fortress of my independence. I knew that freedom would not come on its own. I had to build it. My revenge would not be impulsive, but calculated. Like a chess game, every move would be strategic, designed to hit where it hurt them most: their reputation, their status, their pride. Patience became my best ally. Years passed. I graduated with honors, got a job at a prestigious digital marketing agency, and in secret, founded my own company. My success grew exponentially, while the Vargas family, though still ostentatious, began to show cracks. My adoptive father's investments were not doing as well as before, and the family business faced reputational problems. Camila, for her part, lived a life of excess that began to generate rumors and criticism in her circle. The opportunity was brewing. It was then that my adoptive father, desperate to save his business, sought external help. Through mutual contacts, my name reached his ears as one of the best in the field of digital marketing. They didn't recognize me at first. I introduced myself with the professional name, Valeria Restrepo. My birth surname. The irony was palpable. They came to me, the girl they had humiliated, to save their empire. I accepted the meeting, maintaining my composure. The meeting room where we met was similar to this one, full of tension and expectations. They, unknowingly, were about to fall into the trap I had patiently woven for years. The game was about to begin. The meeting was tense. They presented their problems, asking for urgent solutions. My team and I proposed a bold plan, which involved a complete restructuring of their public image and a considerable investment. It seemed like a miraculous solution. They agreed, desperate. They signed the contracts without reading the fine print, trusting my reputation. What they didn't know was that the plan included a secret clause, a marketing campaign that, at the right moment, would reveal uncomfortable truth. My team worked tirelessly, building a narrative that, apparently, would save them. But every piece of the puzzle was designed to, at the climax, unveil the hypocrisy and falsity of their image. Revenge would be served on a silver platter. The day of the unveiling was a media event, a press conference where the new image of their company would be presented. My adoptive parents and Camila were there, smiling, confident in their resurgence. But when the presentation reached its climax, the screens showed images and testimonies exposing their dubious practices, their treatment of employees, and yes, even a small detail about how they treated certain people in their inner circle. The meeting room fell into a deathly silence. My adoptive parents' faces crumbled as they saw the images. Camila, sitting beside them, turned pale. The campaign I had orchestrated not only exposed their dubious business practices, but also subtly alluded to their personal cruelty. Although it didn't mention the hair incident directly, the message was clear: this family, who presented themselves as a pillar of society, had a dark side. The press swarmed, questions rained down, and their public image crumbled in a matter of minutes. They tried to stop the presentation, but it was too late. The contracts they had signed gave me full control over the campaign. The humiliation I had felt at Camila's wedding, they now experienced in front of the entire country after the chaos. I approached them. Their eyes were filled with rage and confusion. "Valerie, how could you?" My adoptive mother screamed, finally recognizing me. "You destroyed us." "I just showed the world who you really are," I replied calmly, "just as you showed me who you were that night before Camila's wedding. Remember my hair? This is my way of returning the favor." The revenge was complete. The repercussions of the campaign were devastating for the Vargas family. They lost contracts, partners, and, most importantly to them, their reputation. Seeing their downfall did not give me the euphoria some might expect. Instead, I felt a profound sense of liberation. It was not hatred that drove me, but the need to close a cycle, to heal a deep wound. Revenge was a catalyst for my own healing, a way to reclaim the power they had taken from me. It was an act of personal justice. From that day on, my focus shifted. I directed my energy towards building my company, which now flourished even more, and towards supporting young talents who, like me, had been underestimated. My past had given me a mission. I learned that true empowerment lies not in destroying others, but in building oneself. My worth was not in what they thought of me, but in my ability to transform pain into purpose. My life filled with authentic relationships with people who valued my essence, not my adoptive surname. The scar from the cut hair was still there, but now it was a reminder of my strength, not my weakness. Here in this meeting room, surrounded by the fruits of my efforts, I conclude my story. My hair, now long and well-maintained, is a symbol of my resilience. The revenge, though harsh, was the turning point that allowed me to flourish. My message to you is clear: do not let anyone define your worth. The wounds of the past can become the source of your greatest strength. Transform pain into purpose, humiliation into empowerment. Today, through my foundation, I help young women develop their financial and emotional independence, especially those who have been victims of manipulation or abuse. I teach them that their voice matters, that their potential is limitless. The peace I feel now is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of my own truth. I have learned that true freedom lies in being authentic, in living according to our values without fear of others' judgment. If you ever feel underestimated or hurt, remember my story. Sometimes, what seems like a devastating end is, in reality, the beginning of your true liberation. Your worth is defined by no one but yourself. Thank you for listening to my journey.